Time to have the conversation regarding special ed. Simply, what is special ed? Well, special ed is a service, and it's made up around the way all children learn. And doesn't mean that your child is different, doesn't mean that your child is dysfunctional. It just means that it's the support needed to ensure that your child get a basic education. And so, some people are concerned about giving the label of special ed to their child. And I say that there's no need to be concerned, because really it is about the support one child needs to get ahead. But first you have to identify just where your child is. If your child is not at grade level, that is an issue. Not at grade level means that your child's not progressing. And it means that whenever they started having difficulty, that's where they kind of left off. They didn't get any further. And every year that goes by, the kid gets further and further behind, and life just kind of gets harder and harder, and we're not really paying attention. We have to pay attention to these things. And we have to look back on when we were in school and understand that things are not the same anymore. Because what happens actually is children just get left behind. So, I've tried to support a family where the children were 3 to 4 grade levels below. And believe me, in high school, that still looks the same. So if they're in the 10th grade and they have the ability to do 5th grade work, that's what's happening. The state of California, they call Z-coding the curriculum, some fancy way of getting around the responsibility to educate your kid, because there's zero tolerance to your child's behavior. But if your child can't do the work, it's really that they can't do the work and the work is not getting done. And so we're looking at the inability of a child to engage in the process daily, and behaviors tend to get out of hand. And so, what do you do when your child's below grade level and you're just now really willing to step up and tackle it? Because it's not a game, but it is a fight. The fight is for justice. The fight is to ensure that your child has access and is participating and engaged in the process. There is no process of engagement if your child's not doing the work, or if they have no homework. How in the hell do you have no homework and the year is 2019? You have homework, believe me, because most people are doing more work in a day and they're still not getting the work done. And so, you still have to have the skill and ability to achieve the work and get it completed before, you move on to the next step. And I don't believe that today's educational system is supporting all children to learn, because this thing of willful defiance and everybody's lapping into behavior and social emotional needs and social justice. What is social justice when blacks have been oppressed in America for the last 500 something years? As long as we've been here, we've always been oppressed. We're just expected to handle it. And believe me, you can handle it, but you have to educate yourself. You have to hold yourself accountable to holding them accountable. And it's not a game. And so you have to ensure that your child is getting a benefit every day. Every day that there's a benefit to learning. And that they pretty soon will become independently benefiting, because they will be engaged in the process. Your child is not engaged in the process, believe me, if they're getting an F, because they just don't know what to do. It's called executive functioning skills. It's called audio processing, video processing, verbal processing. There's so many terms in public education, and really they have nailed it down to a science. They know how children learn. They know how all children learn, and they know how to measure the benefit of the support given. And if your child's in special education, you should be measuring what's happening quarterly, weekly, monthly, making sure that the kid's participating. If you're not having those conversations with the RSP staff or the district staff, your child's not having any progress, because they're not holding themselves accountable to any progress. And believe me, if you're not overseeing it, then it's just not happening. So, my commitment is, all this gray hair up here, it's there for a reason. It's there because I learned how to fight. And I'm going to teach you how to fight for your child. So the first thing you want to do is, if your child's not getting good grades or A's, independently, successfully doing homework and participating and engaged in the process, then you need to write a letter to the special education department of whatever state you're in and ask them to assess your child. You want a full educational evaluation and want a functional behavior assessment, a FBA. You want a speech and language assessment. I mean, there's so many different types of assessments that they have professionally so that they can demonstrate that they can figure out how to support your child in the classroom. Otherwise, it's just fraud. If it's not working for you, then it is fraud because someone is getting a paycheck. Someone is going to Europe over the summer, or someone's going to the Grand Canyon, or wherever they choose to go. But they're having 3 months off and they're getting paid. So it's time for you to pick up the baton and understand that we need to get paid as a people. Some of those reparations have to come with accountability for the public services, ensuring that the public services are benefiting all people. And it doesn't matter what color your skin is, we need accountability in America. We need accountability for Americans. And I'm going to keep on doing this until I get it right. But eventually I'm going to have the right one. 6 minutes and 20 seconds, got to stop.